Although playing horror games from a first-person perspective seems like the most common and pants-shittingly obvious design choice nowadays, granting the player a level of immersion that other styles can only envy, the black marriage of the two didn't start to bloom until the 90s. Even then, the concept of experiencing ball-shriveling terror from the protagonist's own eyes was far closer to the blood-soaked rampaging of doom than it was amnesia. The concept of first-person survival horror took a surprisingly long time to take hold in the genre, but that's not to say that it hasn't been there from the beginning. If seeing the mortifying Tyrannosaur attack from Jurassic Park on the big screen when I was 7 years old consolidated my childhood fear of the tyrant lizard, 1981's 3D monster maze on the ZX81 was where it began. I was obsessed with dinosaurs when I was a kid. I had an entire bookcase stuffed to breaking point with books about them, crammed with vivid illustrations, but the one that always unsettled me the most was the T-Rex. A scaly death engine with a 6-foot bear trap for a head that could run you down at 25 miles per hour. I had fucking nightmares about being chased through the jungle by one. And when this monster hit the arcades and turned this out for its very first stage, let me tell you, I damn near broke my neck trying to escape the hydraulic cabinet. 3D Monster Maze sustains a perpetually morbid atmosphere from the very first screen, with the ZX81 looking for all the world like it's trying to contact the dead. They chuck a clown in there to explain the rules of the game to you, because this program might only use 16 kilobytes of memory, but it will be goddamned if every one of those isn't being used to directly strike at your phobias, before the panic jester pulls his own fucking head off. Mercy of Jesus. It can't even tell you the controls without trying to force an underwear change. Of course, the clown hasn't actually wrenched his appalling skull from his neck. He's just respectfully removed his hat, as if already mourning your hideously violent passing, which is much less creepy. The aim here is simple. You're looking to rack up points while trying to escape a maze in which a Tyrannosaurus Rex is constantly pursuing you. At the bottom of the screen, a status indicator drops you hints about the terror beast's current position. If he's merely lying in wait or hunting for you, you're relatively safe. But when you hear footsteps approaching or "Ah no, oh god!" there he is. There is fear made flesh. Countless fan remakes have attempted to replicate his distressing visage, but none have come close to this soulless barbarity. The jet black skin, the blank eyes, the gaping hingeless jaw. If there's a hell for dinosaurs, this thing fought its way out of the main gate after a lifetime of pissing off whatever god was misguided enough to create it in the first place. You navigate the maze using the 5, 7 and 8 keys on the ZX81's notoriously fiddly keyboard, a quirk that ramps up the tension even more on account of its intermittent unresponsiveness. Your natural speed is quicker than that of your dinosaur adversary, but when you spot it bearing down on you from the end of the corridor, or you get an urgent prompt to flee as it breathes down your neck, hammering the turn keys as you careen into a T-junction or a dead end is a mortifying experience. Your panic could be deadly in more ways than one. The 16K memory expansion required to run the game was ill-famed for its frailty, and pressing the keyboard too hard could jar the connection, leading to a sudden machine reset. Take a closer look at Mr. Chuckles here, and you'll see that he's made up of character sets rather than any kind of true graphics. Such were the limitations of the ZX81, which makes the effect that programmer Malcolm Evans managed to create really quite remarkable. Although 3D Monster Maze wasn't the original first-person game, that honour either goes to Maze War or Spazim, depending on whose sketchy historical accounts you believe, it was the first game to focus solely on pitting you against an unkillable enemy that you had no means of defeating. Last episode we looked at Berserk that came out the year before, and the chirpy ball of death known as Evil Otto, who had similarly invincible properties. Yet Otto wasn't Berserk's centre stage. At best he was a ferocious mechanic to keep the main objective, blasting robots into scrap, moving along at a frantic pace. Here, the Tyrannosaur and your sheer helplessness against him is the game mechanic, which really makes 3D Monster Maze the first pure-blooded survival horror title in existence. The scarcely known House of Usher may have championed some characteristics of the genre, but the sheer reach, critical acclaim and influence of 3D Monster Maze is what propelled it to the cult status and into the legacy of fan remakes that it equally enjoys today. Next time on Dead Pixels, a battle with the devil himself on his own black doorstep. We catch ourselves a taxi to 1982 to do battle with the maiden gaming voyage of the Prince of Darkness.